Femi Gbajabiamila needs to be relieved of his position first, sent to the anti-graft agencies, let him go and tell the world, the public, what he knows about this man. Using Aso Rock cover to deny, to want to prosecute the guy, does not cut it for any sensible Nigerian. The delicate nature of this crime makes it absolutely imperative that Femi Gbajabiamila leaves Aso Rock. The state press statement was not properly thought out. Number one, in trying to exonerate Femi Gbajabiamila, you implicated the central bank governor. Because if a fraudulent character can come in and open an account with the CBN, it means even terrorists can have account with the CBN. Even bandits can. Who knows? Maybe all these ransoms that are being paid are paid through the CBN. Because if you're telling me that anybody can walk up to the CBN and open an account, you're telling me we have a failed financial system. When we say opposition, please don't tell me anything about press release. That's the laziest opposition strategy I've seen in my entire life. Press release. Tinubu does something. Gbajabiamila does it. Press release. No, that's not opposition.
So what do you expect to be done?
Confrontation.
How? That's violence. That's a cause of violence.
No, confrontation.
Okay.
It's not violence. Total defiance. Nobody should use the Nigerian nation or the Nigerian institution for his personal political gain. Nobody, not even the president. Nobody is begging anybody. They arrest a critic, we shut down the place. They are not more than Nigerians. But you see this opposition, they are the most unserious. Let me finish, because you always cut me when I want to call them out. They are the most unserious, they are the most lethargic, they are the most cold, they are the most uninspiring set of opposition in the country. Election is in 6 months' time, January 16th. There should be a test of power of the people on the street before the election, so that the government understands that if you don't give us free and fair election, there will be no country for you to lead. That is critical. But I don't see Atiku or Peter Obi doing that. They are too comfortable to be opposition leaders.
This is Naija Unfiltered on SYMFONI TV. My name is Olawale Oluwade, and my guest today is Honorable Henry Shield, Head of Mission Leadership and Accountability Mission in Nigeria. Honorable Henry Shield, nice to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Let's begin this session with the ongoing, and let me add, raging allegations surrounding the bribery scandal involving a certain Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi and the Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. Now, just a backgrounder. The Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi, has been parading himself as the Director General of a certain presidential foreign intervention promotion council, and accused the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, of collecting 400 million naira upfront as facilitation fee to be appointed to the said agency, with an outstanding 200 million naira to be paid. And then, not just that, Mr. Gbajabiamila has denied this, stating that the agency and the man in question, Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi, does not exist. He does not know the man. The man is an impostor, a con man. And the presidency itself, through the Office of the Media Advisor to the President, Mr. Ballot, has cleared, came out yesterday to clear Mr. Gbajabiamila of any wrongdoing in this entire sordid drama. Mr. Shield, when you saw this, I'm sure you're aware of all of this, what's going through your mind?
Number one is Nigeria is in the hands of political bandits. political undertakers. When you were introducing the Prince Adeyemi, you said he's parading himself. No, I think that's a wrong description of what he is doing. A man does not just wake up, get an appointment, get an office at the Federal Secretariat, not in a hotel. Get a police orderly. Get a central bank account for his office. Get his office needs included in the nation's budget. These are institutional actions and activities. So he's not parading himself as being head of an organization. The question we should be asking is, what is the relationship between him and Femi Gbajabiamila? As at this morning, with all that has happened in the past few hours, the revelation by the Prince Adeyemi, the rebuter by, let me also correct something. You said Aso Rock has exonerated the chief of staff. Aso Rock is not an anti-graft agency. It's only the EFCC, it's only the ICPC, it's only the police or the DSS that can exonerate Gbajabiamila. And the seriousness of this makes it impossible for me as a Nigerian to trust any of the Nigerian security agencies or anti-graft agencies to exonerate him, because what is going on is too damning. Gbajabiamila resuming work this morning in Aso Rock is a national security threat. When the prince came out, when the young man came out and made assertions, I paid 400 million to balance 200 million naira and this and that, Gbajabiamila came out and told us and said, that office does not exist. It was until Nigerians brought the Nigerian 2026 budget and showed him that this office actually has a budget captured in the Nigerian current budget.
2026 budget.
That was when Aso Rock yesterday, that's the State House, decided to now say, oh, yes, he opened an account in CBN fraudulently. We are not kids. So I'm going to repeat my opening statement. Nigeria is currently in the hands of political bandits. And when I mean bandits, I mean from top to bottom. Shameless, classless, valueless. Femi Gbajabiamila needs to be relieved of his position first, sent to the anti-graft agencies, let him go and tell the world, the public, what he knows about this man. Using Aso Rock cover to deny, to want to prosecute the guy, does not cut it for any sensible Nigerian. The delicate nature of this crime makes it absolutely imperative that Femi Gbajabiamila leaves Aso Rock. This is not the first time his name is being associated with criminality or fraud. He was said to have been disbarred in the US as a lawyer because allegedly stole from his client. There have been instances some few years ago, his convoy killed somebody at the Federal Secretariat. Gbajabiamila has been associated with so much heels, so much, I don't want to say criminality, but unconstitutionalities. So we cannot have, because no matter who you are, Gbajabiamila is the only one who can grant access to anybody to see the president. He's the chief of staff to the president. So every sensitive document, every sensitive information, everything about Nigerians currently today passes through him to the president. Such a man with such a questionable character and current accusations on his head has no business staying in Aso Rock today. Let him first of all go and clear his name. And sincerely, what Aso Rock did yesterday through Bayo Onanuga, by trying cleverly to refute the allegations against Fabiola, they added more fire to the raging inferno. The state press statement was not properly thought out. Number one, in trying to exonerate Femi Gbajabiamila, you implicated the central bank governor. Because if a fraudulent character can come in and open an account with the CBN, it means even terrorists can have account with the CBN. Even bandits can. Who knows? Maybe all these ransoms that are being paid are paid through the CBN. Because if you're telling me that anybody can walk up to the CBN and open an account, you're telling me we have a failed financial system. That's number one. You implicated the NSA that he knew about this and he was just writing letter up and down. That's the second person. You implicated the SGF. So are you saying that Nigeria currently is in the hands of people who have no idea what governance and governance structure should look like? Personally, Gbajabiamila should be sacked. He shouldn't even be allowed to resign. Tinubu needs to sack him. Yes, there's the presumption of innocence, you understand, before the law, but first time, second time, third time, repeated involvement, alleged involvement in criminal acts should not be something to be taken lightly by any serious country at all.
Okay. I'm glad you, towards the end of your submission, you did also remember to state for the records that there's a presumption of innocence.
Absolutely.
So I was going to say before asking my second question that do not forget, or let us be mindful of the fact that these are still allegations. Nothing has been proven.
Absolutely. And
Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila remains innocent until proven by a court. Not even the ICPC or police or EFCC can, convict him. So, but that's fine. Now,
sorry, before you go forward, on this particular statement, the current system we run is such that all the security and anti-graft agencies submit themselves to him. So, to ensure impartiality, to ensure objectivity, to ensure fairness, Gbajabiamila needs to leave that office. We are trying to get to nobody is saying whatever. For us to ensure that justice is actually gotten in this matter, Gbajabiamila needs to be relieved of that position. Let him come and defend himself as an ordinary Nigerian, not as the boss of anti-graft agencies, not as somebody that EFCC, ICPC, everybody kowtows to. Because with that, they can't look their boss and say their boss is guilty. Let Gbajabiamila, first of all, leave that office. Then let him answer to EFCC or to this thing as an ordinary citizen.
This video will get to President Tinubu. I'm sure he would heed this advice. But let me ask you, Honorable Shield, does this entire sordid affair not question the integrity of the presidency itself? Because, sorry, that agency, that fictitious, so-called fictitious agency, is not under any ministry.
Directly
directly under the presidency.
Yes. We don't really know the seriousness. We haven't captured the seriousness of this issue. If someone fraudulently opens an account with the CBN, your country is gone. Now, how did this individual, fictitious as claimed by them, how did this individual get his agency's budget into the national budget? How? How did the National Assembly accommodate that? How did the National Budget Office, how did it present to the National Assembly a budget for an office they said is fictitious? There are so many racketeering going on within the villa, and it's only a shame that the opposition is sleeping. Completely a shame. Ordinarily, these are things that shut down government, because if you can create a fictitious organization because you have collected money and have that organization or agency or whatever recognized by the National Budget Office to the extent that they are captured in the nation's budget, It's not the man that is the fraud. It's the government. It's Aso Rock that has questions to answer. It's not the prince that has any question to answer. No. It is Aso Rock, and whatever they are trying to do, the guy is not the fraud. Aso Rock is what needs to tell us that it is not the fraud. Because everything that has gone on now has the imprimatus of Aso Rock. He has the stamp of Aso Rock.
When you say Aso Rock, you are saying the presidency.
The president, the chief of staff, everyone that forms the presidency, the SGF. Now, why do I say this? You, as a veteran journalist, why is your name not captured in the national budget? It can't be, because it's an abnormality. It is absurd. If you are capturing an agency in the budget, publicly in the budget, it means you know about the agency, you formed the agency, you want to use the agency for yourself. That is the simple explanation to me. No individual. And you know what? Ministries, agencies, MDAs, you understand? Ministries, departments, and agencies of government go to the National Assembly to defend their budget, right? I'm still going to get the clip of this particular agency defending their budget before the National Assembly. But currently, I have 2 letters from the National Assembly. One from the Senate and one from the House of Rep. Corresponding with this agency, with this individual. It is not fictitious. Gbajabiamila needs to come out and tell us exactly his business with this guy. Is it the 200 million naira balance that is remaining that is the problem? Or the 40% he is allegedly claiming to want from the agency's budget? If that is the problem, we need to get to it. But Aso Rock should not be a place for criminals. It should not be a place for rogues. Let me not say criminals. For rogues. For individuals who think they can personalize the nation's structure or system for their personal greed. On what basis? This guy said Gbajabiamila gave him appointment. He paid 400 million. He's supposed to balance 200 million. The guy who acted as the middleman, as of today, they said the man is dead. The man died 24 hours after this other guy blew the whistle. Why are we all acting like we are kids? We are not kindergarten students. We should be able to deduce what is going on.
You said, you've touched on very important aspects in this sordid affair. But let's really dig deep. There appears to be a complete collapse of key institutions that act as
Safeguards.
Safeguards,
Yeah,
gatekeepers.
Absolutely.
The National Assembly, for instance.
Absolutely.
And we run a bicameral National Assembly. So that if one fails,
The other is supposed to
the other is meant to
pick
check
up.
that failure. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the office of the SGF that allocates offices, the Accountant General's office, and the list goes on. Even the anti-security agencies. Is it possible, Mr. Shield, is it possible for all of these institutional safeguards to have fallen under, allegedly, fallen under the spell of this great con man, this con artist, without actually the active complicity of a highly placed person?
Number one is, let us agree that there's a total collapse of almost all institutions under the Tinubu presidency. There is no need to beat about the bush. From the National Assembly was singing on your mandate. The president went to present budget, and the way to welcome him, rather than sing the national anthem, was to sing on your man his political song or whatever. That was what the National Assembly was singing. No. We have members of the Senate, of the House of Rep, who go to daily sittings wearing the cap with the insignia of the president. It has never been this bad. In fact, it has never been this horrible that a National Assembly that is supposed to question, interrogate, and examine presentations from the executive on behalf of the Nigerian people. Because the National Assembly is the house of Nigerians. It's not APC chambers. It is the house of the Nigerian people. That is where our representative, that is where they are. So if anything is being done, I should be able to call my House of Rep member or my senator or whatever and say, this is my own submission. It should be the house of Nigerian people. So the National Assembly that is supposed to stand in the gap on behalf of Nigerian people has carried all his bag and luggage and bed and pillow and stove and pot and joined the executive. And it is not only the National Assembly. We have the same thing with the judiciary. That is why if you look at all the political cases in the last 1 year, none of them has gone against the ruling party or the presidency, not one. So you have the failure of a critical organ of government. You have the compromise of a critical organ of government. So you ask yourself, people that can get to do this to the National Assembly, what is EFCC? What is ICPC? What is police? What is SGF? But now, and the critical issue is the collapse of all institutions of state. Institutions of state are what keeps the executive in check. In the US 2 days ago, the US president, there was a case before the Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court, where the US president, Donald Trump, was trying to ban birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court stopped him. That defines separation of power. That defines that there is Donald Trump as president, but there is America as a country that is not Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has a tenure of 4 years, but there is America as a country, as a state. So it is that state that the Supreme Court decided to protect. You understand what I'm saying? In Nigeria, there is nothing to defend the state. In fact, there is no state. Everything now is on your mandate. Everything, every structure, every institution is now on your mandate. And that is the danger that we currently are in, because we are grooming a king and not a president. We are grooming an entity that cannot be questioned. What do you call it? The judiciary. We used to have Justice Kayode Esho. We used to have Justice Chukwudefu Oputa. We used to have justices of
Nikki Lawal
Ways,
you know, and all these
we
people.
had people that when a case involving the federal government comes before them, the federal government is jittery, is scared. Because one, you can't compromise those justices. You can't even dare come close to them. But today, the federal government will dare you to go to court. They are even ready to sponsor you to go to court. Because you going to court will now legitimize whatever action there. This is a total, like I said at the beginning, is a total collapse of institution. So what you are going to have in the next election, in the next, is not going to be Nigeria conducting an election. It's going to be Nigeria coronating an individual.
So, from what you said, Mr. Shield, do not forget also that this case is not just purely a case of criminal diversion of government resources through budgetary allocations, collapse of state institutions, and all of that. We're also talking about the allegation of murder.
Absolutely.
Because they go between the alleged con artist, Prince Adeyemi, and the chief of staff, a certain Mr. Tanimola. when the con artist, Prince Adeni, mentioned the name.
You cannot call him. No, please. As of today, I refuse to buy into the narrative that the government is trying to push. The government is calling him a con artist. As at this moment, I cannot, and you cannot, justifiably refer to him as a con artist until the court declares him a con artist, until there is a proper adjudication of the accusations against him. So let's just refer to him as please.
Okay, so let's remove the con artist and just call him
if I'm answering you
Prince
this
Adeni
question,
Adeyemi.
simple.
Okay, so Prince Adeni Adeyemi said the money he gave, that transaction of give me upfront bribe and all of that, was passed through a certain Mr. Tanimola.
Yes.
And that when the police wanted to, arrest the Tanimola, they traced him to a hotel, and he had died, I think, a few days before.
Yeah, 2 days before.
In a mysterious fire incident and all of that.
How very convenient.
Exactly. Now, beyond that, even this Mr. Prince Adeni Adeyemi also alleged that attempts were made
on his life,
on his own life too.
Yes,
he was driving to Kaduna. He had an accident.
Yes.
Was at assassination attempt.
Yes.
The vehicles, all of that. The phones were taken, meaning attempts were made to conceal, evidence and all of this. Could Hollywood, Nollywood cannot even act this kind of script. Could Hollywood have, put up a better movie, action movie, or a spy movie than this?
We are in the hands of, I called them earlier, political bandits, but they're actually political. And I will say it and say it to anybody who cares to listen. Nigeria is in the hands of people who should not hold power. Nigeria is in the hands of mafias, people who do not care about life. People who do not care about pain. People who do not care about whatever it is that you want to talk about. No decency whatsoever. If this had happened under Jonathan, under Yaradua, under Obasanjo, this chief of staff will not come to work this morning. He will be answering questions at the DSS because the president will separate the state from individuals. But now, Aso Rock itself is coming out to exonerate this guy.
Okay, I did say earlier that all of this still remains allegations until proven in a court of law. I just need to keep reiterating this.
So since they remain allegations, let us also not call the Prince Adeyemi
a con artist. Yes, I've agreed not to call him a con artist, but
let everybody be innocent.
Exactly,
but
until proven.
We'll also query people's history,
of course,
their past,
of course,
and the kind of persons that they are.
Of course. Now, this issue of failure of state institution, Henry Shield, the role of the National Assembly is so critical. You earlier referenced separation it's not just separation of powers, checks and balances.
See, without separation of power,
yes,
you
there
can't
cannot
have
be checks, of course.
Because
of course.
if the Senate is telling you that our mommy is inviting us to come and eat lunch.
Yes. Okay, let me put the question. They can choose to call anybody their mommy or their daddy, Even the Senate president said...
My brother,
yes.
There is nowhere in the world where you familiarize with the executive as a legislature, where you submit yourself under the table to them. You are, I'm not saying you are equals, but you are an arm of government on your own. There is a reason they call the Senate, the head of the Senate, of the National Assembly chairman, there's a reason they call the head of the Senate president, the same way you call the man in Aso Rock president. There's a reason they are not calling him head of the Senate. He's called the president of the Senate. There's a reason he's called the speaker, because he's supposed to speak for the Nigerian people. If these people have submitted themselves as pet dogs, if they have submitted themselves as whatever to Aso Rock, we are going to bear the brunt.
Let me ask you, the allocation to this so-called fictitious agency, 1.3 billion, was approved by the National Assembly, Senate and House of Reps. It was assented to by Mr. President.
The Senate and the House did not did not put in that 1.3 billion for the agency in the budget. Budget is usually sent by and from the executive.
Yes.
So let us
what I'm saying is that
primary, because if you say it was approved by Senate, 1.3 billion naira was put in the national budget by Aso Rock, led by Tinubu, and sent to the National Assembly. So the executive, the presidency, the executive sent a budget for that so-called fictitious agency to the National Assembly. National Assembly approved and brought it back to the president, and the president assented because it was what he sent.
Okay, but I beg to differ with you.
Okay,
Mr.
why?
Shield. You know why? Because the presidency has denied not only the existence of this agency, everything about it, as far as the presidency is concerned, according to Mr. Bayo statement, is a scam.
Okay, so
no, hold on, Shield. You respond. You have, of course, you'd have enough time. So that's why let me repeat myself. This individual, Prince Adeni, sent this found a way to insert, this 1.3 billion into the national budget, the bill, maybe from transmission from the presidency to the National Assembly. He found a way, hijacked that document, put it there. The National Assembly missed it. But then he came back for the president's assent. Nobody in the presidency, all the gatekeepers that will check whatever the president has sent to, nobody saw it and was assented to. How plausible, how reasonable does this sound?
You are a very good man, because you keep giving this presidency the benefit of the doubt.
I have to.
No, I can't.
They've not been convicted
No,
yet.
I can't because consistently they've shown that they are rogues. Consistently, ever since they took over in 2023. You are giving them the benefit of the doubt. And honestly, I applaud you that in this current situation, you still have the magnanimity of heart, the bigness of heart to say, okay, maybe it was not the presidency maybe it was not Aso Rock that put it. But I am telling you that not a single word from Aso Rock can be believed on this matter. You know why? National Assembly, whatever it is, could not have written to the CBN to open an account. For you to open an account with the CBN as an agency of government, CBN will do a proper background check. They will write to the mother ministry, the parent ministry of your agency, for confirmation. They will write to that SGF. They will verify before they can open an account for you. So, yes, National Assembly failed. They failed to check the insertion of that agency and such humongous amount of money in the national budget for them. But the presidency should tell us who put that in the budget, number one. The presidency should also tell us who opened an account at the CBN for them, because believe me, like I said, CBN you can't even go to a microfinance bank. Listen, I have an OPay account. OPay, there is a tier you want to go to. They will verify your NIN. They will verify your BVN, your face. They will take your fingerprint. What are you saying? You are not saying an individual will just walk into the Central Bank of Nigeria and open an account. It is a lie. Aso Rock is lying to us. And this should be the end. This particular fraud, criminality should be the end. Honestly, we will talk about the opposition. They are a total shame. But this should be the end, because the danger in not addressing this frontally is that even as we speak today, that budget has been passed since. Do you know how many more are in that budget that nobody out of 230 million Nigerians has been able to scrutinize properly, interrogate, and see? No matter how greedy you are, no matter how criminally minded you are, there should be instances where you separate the state from your criminality, where you understand that there is a Nigerian nation. Let me tell you, some diplomats were hosted by this agency we're talking about. Those diplomats will have to give report, as at this morning, to their home countries how do you think those countries will rate Nigeria? Sincerely. How do you think those countries, how do you think the international community will take us? Just because of one man? Gbajabiamila needs to leave Aso Rock. It is not a demand. It is not a call. It is not something. It is just the right thing to do. Thank you.
Let me ask you something else that has been bothering me seriously, giving me serious concern about this entire saga is that because as anchor of this great platform, I know what it takes to invite guests, especially once they are politically exposed. The cajoling, almost groveling, not almost begging, proving yourself, your bona fides and all of that for them to come. I've seen this guy, Prince Adeniyi, I've seen pictures of him with the deputy speaker, Benjamin Kalu. Shockingly, shockingly. I saw a picture with the chairman of the EFCC. So, is this guy was he using what we call juju in Nigeria?
See, you are the one who is giving the government the benefit of the doubt. I am saying that the government is involved in this. There is no way he will have gotten such access without a backing, without the approval of Aso Rock. It is not possible. Do you know what it takes to get an office in Federal Secretariat?
Sorry, I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking because, we're both Nigerians and we know the way our system works. In other climes, it's a bit different, but here I know that for him to have access to the chairman of EFCC, somebody up there must have called the EFCC chair to say, this person is coming.
Let me tell you
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
No,
maybe I'm just
let me tell you one thing about the EFCC. If you write a letter to the EFCC, do you understand? They will do a background check on you before they grant you audience. In fact, I think it's just about normal. I have an organization that works with an anti-graft agency, and we wrote them, you understand, to be for collaboration on an anti-graft campaign we were starting. They came to my office to come and verify. They sent their staff to my office to verify that, this office exists, this office has us the clearance in it, this office is genuine. This organization I'm talking about was registered almost 17 years ago. About 15 years ago. So it's not like we just propped up an organization. Consistently been there. But for us, and it was not like we were asking for money or support. We wanted to be a part. We're having a nationwide campaign on anti-corruption at the local government level and everything. We wrote to them for partnership. Just for them to endorse that partnership, they came to do physical inspection. You will not tell me that someone will write as a DG or whatever, as chairman of an agency to the EFCC. EFCC will now call his boys and say, okay, find out. This agency exists. Gbajabiamila should come out and say the truth. This agency was created. It should come and, because for now, all the indices of creation of an agency, they are already active, or they are already on ground, they are already there and visible for everyone to see. You understand? They have a TSA, they are connected to the TSA. You know what that means? They have an account with the CBN. They are meeting and corresponding with the National Assembly, both National Assembly chambers, the House and the Senate. They are meeting with, they even have a budget. So this is a government agency. Gbajabiamila should tell us if he created the agency to defraud Nigeria.
Okay, 2 more on this, then we'll wrap up on this. Can the president, claim total deniability in all of this, that he is totally blindsided?
He can claim, but that doesn't mean that it is true. You understand? So he can claim that, he doesn't know anything, and that's the job of a chief of staff. You are always the fall guy. Because certain people have spoken up against this government that from the top, money is always being demanded for appointment.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, if you say allegedly.
Because we don't have evidence.
that you know the NNPC.
Maybe we should skip that. Let me ask the next question.
Are you sure you want to skip it? Okay, maybe you're scared. Me, I'm not scared. Okay, but let's skip it. If you want me, I can tell you what I'm just thinking,
Yes.
because I don't want to involve individuals who trusted me with information and everything.
Exactly.
Because I've never, since I've been granting public interviews, I have never mentioned my sources. I can never mention. I get information on a daily. Before the Villa released that press statement yesterday, I got it like almost an hour before they released that press statement. There are people that trust you with serious information. So this goes beyond Femi Gbajabiamila.
Let's say alleged. Anyway, let me ask the final question on this bit. The only opposition person who seems to have spoken up is former VP Atiku Abubakar, who has urged President Tinubu to suspend. He didn't say fire. He said suspend his chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, to ensure a thorough investigation. Of course, I know you agree because you referenced that yourself. What do you say about this?
It's a good call, but for me, Atiku, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, Amechi, they are not doing opposition work. They are doing executive opposition, AC opposition, VIP opposition. If this had happened under Jonathan, Gbajabiamila will not resume this morning. Stella Udua was Minister of Aviation under Jonathan. She was accused that somebody bought a vehicle for her for 230 million naira, a bulletproof vehicle.
BMW to be specific.
Do you know that she was sacked?
Yeah.
230 million.
Yeah.
She was sacked. It was not confirmed, but just that allegation alone and what it was going to bring to the government, she was relieved of her duty. Do you get what I'm saying? A government that understood what shame meant. These ones are opposition. These were opposition people here now. Atiku issued press statement. And after the press statement, if they don't attend to him, what happens after that? Peter Obi, what has he said about it? This morning, and I'm going to say this, the only way that APC can have a semblance of leaving power in 2027 is direct confrontation.
You know, what you're calling for is not far-fetched, actually. And the reference you made to Stella Adaozua, I think is even a bit too far off, because under Buhari, his SGF, Bachelawa, was forced to resign.
Over 500 miracle grass cutting
contract.
Yeah.
Worse than that, or maybe at the same level, something that I actually did not even think would require Kemi Adeosun, former finance minister, to resign.
NYSC,
just because of she was forced out of office.
Absolutely. But these people, nobody has been able to force Tinubu's hand to relieve. Let me tell you, there are so many people that are under Tinubu that should go. You see this guy that they call the Minister of FCT. He has no business being in government. Absolutely no business. If you had a living opposition and not a dead one, Wike will be gone, Umahi will be gone, Gbajabiamila will be gone. And see, no matter their closeness to the president will choose between saving the Nigerian nation or saving his friends. But look at the mess that these guys are doing. Look at the mess that they are doing. Do you know what is going on in the Ministry of Works? Do you know what is going on in the FCT? Do you know since Wike's land allocation of land to his children, do you know since that matter came up, Wike stopped people entering Aegis with their phones. Aegis is not a diplomatic zone. It is not a security zone. Aegis. There has been Aegis for years before Wike came. What is there in taking your phone? But he felt that if you take your phone, you will take picture. What are you hiding if you are not a criminal? But what is the opposition doing about that? Absolutely nothing. In fact, the worst part is Wike is the one bringing fire to opposition people. Even when rubbish is going on in the FCT, talk to any of the top guys in the FCT, all the civil servants, engage any of them. They will tell you nonsense the guy is doing here. Go to Ministry of Work and confirm the same thing with what do you call it, with David Umahi. The Minister of Interior, Ojo, was he not indicted in the humanitarian affairs this thing when his wife got contract of 400 million? Is he still not minister today? These guys believe that they can do anything and get away with it, and the truth is, it's not just that they believe it; it is the truth.
Let's leave that and come to the issues that bother politicians. 2027 politics. How would you assess the Lokoja Federal High Court judgment cancelling the registration of the NDC? The same court, the same judge that earlier said in December last year that
INEC should
register NDC.
It just tells you that between the
turned around and said, no, I've withdrawn that order. Don't register them again because of a People's Peace Movement Party that's not even registered anyway. It's an association. That because logo, they stole that, they used, NDC used their logo, they shouldn't. What do you say?
If you look at all the factors in that case, you will know that the judge erred even in law. You will know that between that December that the judge asked INEC to register NDC and the day he gave this last judgment, you will know that a lot of things have transpired. A lot of water has gone under the bridge. When a judge, a court gives judgment in a matter, that matter has left its hand. The next stop should be either appeal court or Supreme Court. And if there is nobody challenging the judgment, and that's been what happened. So if, number one, a non-entity, the NPM is a non-entity, is not a known association, is not a known political party, now forced itself into a matter you have already given judgment on, and is not asking you that it wants to be joined in the matter, but is asking you to review your judgment. Number one is, as at the day they made that, they were not recognized by law. So whatever judgment came out of their request to the judge is fraud. Whatever judgment came out of that. Because you need to be a living entity, either as human or as corporate body, to be able to sue. So if you are not, okay, you said NDC stole your logo. Which logo? You need to have been registered for your logo to be customized to you. As at the time they went there, and listen, this NPM went to court 2 days after Peter Obi joined NDC. The handwriting is already on the wall and is very glaring. This government does not want Peter Obi on the ballot. And let me shock you, and I'm saying this for everyone to hear. I am saying this for everyone to hear. Please, listen to me carefully. Peter Obi may not be on the ballot in 2027.
How do you know that?
I don't know. I'm just telling you.
Okay. Your own thinking.
It's not my own thinking. It's from what I've been able to deduce. I've read political development under Tinubu, but most things that I tell people, when I told people that in 2027, for the 2027 election, there will be a judgment. This was last year or 2 years ago. Last year, I met with your brother, Shehu Ballot, and I told him, I said, when 2027 is approaching, I said there will be a court judgment that will give legality to the wicked faction of PDP to sell forms and everything. He said, how do you know that? This is several months ago. Has it not happened today? It has happened. When PDP was still trying in its infancy as opposition, I wrote a letter to all their organs and told them, see, this is how to engage the APC. All the things that I told them in 2015, 11 years today, every single thing I told them the APC would do, APC has done it. So I am telling you, as of today, that Peter Obi, unless something happens, Peter Obi will not be on the ballot for 2027 election. You see that INEC has recognized them, right? Because after the judge gave that judgment, they went on appeal and also asked for stay of execution, right? Now they will go to appeal court, right? Appeal court might say, okay, yes, Peter Obi people are right, NDC is right and everything. But you see Supreme Court, few weeks before the general election is in 6 months, before general election, the Supreme Court will most likely tell you that NDC registration is illegal.
Anyway,
Don't say anyway. Please, I need this particular point to be pointed out so that NDC and the opposition in general will take heed to what I am saying. Every single thing I tell opposition always come to pass. And I am telling you today that Peter Obi will not be on the ballot in 2027.
It's a conjecture. That's what I want to say. But let me ask you this, and you reference it, but I want you to speak on it definitively. Should a high court reverse or review its own... No, hold on, Shield. Review its own judgments, and having done so, what is the role of the NJC, the higher, disciplining body? Are they just there for decoration or decorative purposes? I don't understand. Speak to this. Don't forget that it is the same scenario with the Peter Lifu case.
I need to ask a question.
Yes.
Why do you keep assuming we are still in a democracy? You are a good man. I will say it again. You are a very good man. You have a large heart. You keep giving this government the benefit of the doubt. What makes you think that this is a democracy? What makes you think that Tinubu is interested in a democracy? What makes you think that APC wants democracy? Is this the first absurdity we are going to have in the judiciary? No. No. There was a court that granted Nafiu Balaz and gave him legitimacy. There are courts today, up to the Supreme Court, that recognize Wike as leader of the PDP. Even when Wike has boldly and publicly said that he is for Tinubu in 2027. They see all these things. They realize that there needs to be opposition to checkmate a ruling party. They still went and gave this particular guy the party. Why are you surprised about the rulings of this particular judge? Your judges are being given mansions, and you are not worried. Your judges, your justices are being dashed mansions by politicians, and you are not worried. These particular politicians, they don't lose cases before these judges, and you are not worried. There is no judiciary. Look at what Peter Lifu did the last time. Supreme Court said what? Suspend all hearings on a particular matter. Appeal court, rather. Suspend all hearings. And appeal court is higher than the High Court. Suspend all hearings on a particular matter. This particular guy still went ahead. And there is no disciplinary action against him till today. Let me say it clearly and boldly. No matter who is offended, I don't care. There is no judiciary in Nigeria today. There is no single judiciary. How come every high political matter, every serious political matter that will affect the fortunes of the opposition negatively, they are always either brought before Peter Lifu or Omotosho? Are there no other judges in the Federal High Court? Why will the Chief Justice of FCT be referring matters, sensitive political matters, to just 3 judges of the High Court? This is not the judiciary.
Let me ask you. Some political commentators are saying, this latest judgment from the Lokoja High Court, it's a strategic move, by external forces, determined to destabilize opposition. I don't think there's anybody in Nigeria now who is surprised or who is still wondering whether there's a plot to destabilize. But my question is that, what is the role of the judiciary? What do they stand to benefit in all these perverse judgments?
Okay, let me tell you where this started from.
And is it wrong, really, for not individual politicians, government, executive arm? Is it wrong for them to want the judges to live comfortably, build them houses? And is it wrong?
No, it's not wrong, but it should be done properly so that the judges and the judiciary doesn't need to lean on the executive. Let me give you an example. Building houses for judges is not a crime, but it is a crime when it is seen as a gift. If the judges are in need of houses, the same money you used to build it for them, give that money to the judiciary. Judiciary, go and look for your contractor. Go and do bidding. Do whatever you need to do. Get your contractor. Build your own house. So that it is not me, a politician, that will come and say, we are handing over houses to judges. If I give you where you sleep, you like this interview this morning, you will not say anything that will offend me. Even as a journalist, so talk more of a judge. If me, Henry Shield, if I am the one housing you, if I'm the one giving you accommodation, we cannot be having interview and you will say anything that will offend me. Do you get what I'm saying? So it is not wrong for the government to want, or for Nigeria as a society to want the judiciary to live comfortably. Of course, they should live comfortably, because in their comfort is when they can have clear heads to give good judgment, objective government, fair judgment. You understand? But it should not be done as a gift from a political party, from politicians to them. They are not beggars. You have executive, judiciary, legislature, and judiciary. The way that the executive can take care and decide we want to build roads, that's the way judges should be able to say, okay, we want to build houses for ourselves. Impute it in the budget. Send the money to the judiciary. Let the judiciary do its normal bidding with contractors. Come and build the house for us. If they now feel like inviting the president to come and commission it, they will invite him as president, not as leader of the APC. They will invite Wike as minister, not as leader of the coalition between PDP, of the rainbow coalition between PDP. Do you get what I'm saying? Because the moment you publicly hand over the key of a house to a judge as a politician, you own that judge. That judge's judgment going forward need to favor you. Otherwise, you have the right to tell the judge to submit the keys to that house again.
What is the interest of the judiciary? Because it will seem like the Nigerian judiciary is oblivious of what is going on.
No, they are not oblivious. The issue is that they've been captured. From what I see, they've been captured. You know, when Buhari was president, that brutal invasion of the houses of justices and judges, it tweaked something in the mindset of our judges and justices. That was a brutal intimidation that rendered them helpless. Now, judges don't want their files to be opened, whether by the EFCC or whatever. Judges no longer want to be scrutinized by anti-graft agencies. That was, this particular one, it was not Tinubu, it was Buhari. But Tinubu has sustained that in the fact that only 3 judges address matters that concern Tinubu, APC, Wike, and opposition in Nigeria. So the judiciary, there are, and I want to be on record as saying this, there are very many upright judges in Nigeria. There are very many honorable judges in Nigeria. But guess what? The chief judge of either the FCT or different states would never refer cases, political cases, to them, so that in their uprightness, they will not give judgment against the system political party. So for any party that will come in after this party has gone, we need to rebuild the confidence of our judiciary. We need to hand them back that dignity. For now, they've lost it, because you saw the one that went and was begging land from Wike. Begging for land from the minister of the FCT. Where is that done? Judges are not even supposed to be seen with politicians, but now today they attend naming ceremonies of politicians, they attend the wedding ceremonies, they attend the housewarming ceremonies. They are already in the pocket of the ruling party, the APC.
Does the judiciary not realize that some of these, or all these so-called, very controversial judgments, that they are really helping to destabilize democracy, destabilize multi-party democracy, and steer Nigeria towards a one-party state? Don't they realize it?
They know. They are just They've been captured. When you are captured, you do what your boss says. When you are in the pocket of a politician, he dictates what you do and how you do it. The judiciary, I wanted to believe that the judiciary was a victim. Under Buhari, we fought when Onogen was removed. We had protests. I was part of the protest. It will not stand and everything. But after Onogen left, I now realized that the judiciary is actually not a victim in this instance. They are full-blown collaborators with the ruiners of Nigeria. They are not victims. So they have decided on their own to partner with these politicians that are destroying the lives of Nigerians. Because if a judge understands the seriousness of the office he holds and the sensitive nature of the office he holds, they will not be obnobbing with politicians. But I can tell you today, if any judge today is having child dedication, you will see ministers there.
I'm not sure we've gotten to that point.
We have gotten past that. Because I've seen some of the, what do you call it? I think a judge was having a child, his child was graduating or so. I saw was he a governor or something, was at the event. In the past, judges kept private lives. In the past, judges understood that they were the pillars holding the country. The executive can misbehave. The legislature can misbehave. The only hope for every other Nigerian citizen has always been the judiciary. But today, they've joined our tormentors.
With all of this now that you have said, Shield, do opposition parties still stand a realistic chance?
No.
In the present political...
No, they don't.
You've even said, that you are not sure people will be on the ballot.
No, they don't stand any chance in 2027. As of today, maybe in the next 1 month, if they change their strategy, I will still come back here and tell you.
That's your position?
Yes. I will still come back here and tell you.
Tell me what you want them to do, actually, that they are not doing.
It's time for confrontation with the APC. And please, when we say opposition, please don't tell me anything about press release. That's the laziest opposition strategy I've seen in my entire life. Press release. Tinubu does something. Gbajabiamila does something. Press release. No, that's not opposition.
So what do you expect to be done?
Confrontation.
How? That's violence. That's a cause of violence.
Confrontation.
So, okay.
It's not violence. Total defiance. The chairman of INEC is seen to have been supporting Tinubu. He has to resign. If he doesn't resign, he's not going to resume. We shut down the INEC head office. It's defiance. You are protecting the country from rogues. The chairman of INEC conducted an election in Ekiti. Is he free and fair? If he's not free and fair, we shut down the place. Oh, police arrest El-Rufai or something, and the judiciary is doing this. Oga, we shut down the place. Nobody should use the Nigerian nation or the Nigerian institution for his personal political gain. Nobody, not even the president. Nobody is begging anybody. They arrest a critic, we shut down the place. They are not more than Nigerians. But you see this opposition, they are the most unserious. Let me finish, because you always cut me when I want to cut them out. They are the most unserious, they are the most lethargic, they are the most cold, they are the most uninspiring set of opposition in the country. Fuel is selling. There is no opposition in Nigeria. We have opposition leaders, like I said in the start station, but we don't have opposition in Nigeria. As of today, if election is conducted, as evil as he is, Tinubu will win. And he will not just win, he will win by a very serious margin. Not because he has done well, not because the people came out to vote for him, but because as at this moment, opposition still does not understand the strategy to use to remove this man. Few weeks ago, some guy that works with Wike, the guy that has gray hair.
Larry Olayinka.
Okay, that's his name. Because I saw he said he was tweeting something about me 2-3 days ago, and I'm like, well,
you guys have an issue with each other?
I don't know him. He used to be my friend then when he was fighting for Nigeria, That's like when he was working with Fire and everything.
Yes,
But
yes.
since he became to FCT, I've stayed away from them. I don't even criticize them. But a few days ago, when I said that Nigeria as an oil producing nation should not be discussing kuli and akara as an economic
Empowerment program.
you understand? And he came out and said, "Oh, this was she that worked in Bala, blah 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 blah, and everything." See, I will not call Larry an adult child, but when I worked with a minister of FCT as an SA, his children will not dare ask me to open the door for them, or I should carry phone and be following them around. I wouldn't do it. I worked with dignity. When I had an instance that I was going to tender my resignation, working with the minister of FCT didn't make me rich. He didn't add 1 naira to my. I didn't do a contract. I didn't do anything apart from whatever we were being given money. Nobody will say that I used that office to either empower, to either give a friend, crony, or 1 naira of government money never entered my hand. So that individual that you called his name now, that guy that you called his name now, do you know he posted something a few weeks ago? That guy has access to INEC back-end server. So why is INEC still conducting election and opposition has not shut down INEC?
That matter is in court.
No. I'm telling you what I saw. I'm not making allegation.
No.
Larry
What I'm
posted
saying is
a screenshot
Yes.
of information from INEC admin
about
Emeka Ike, who happens to
the
be my
matter is
friend.
under investigation. As
Now,
in
if
court.
there's nothing under investigation, he posted it, he has not denied it. See, on Gbajabiamila, I said allegedly. On this one, it's not allegedly. Larry should tell us how he gained access to the back end of INEC. If this ruling party, these guys already have access to INEC back end, and opposition is not challenging that, who told you that with their access to back end, they are going to declare you winner of any election?
Let me ask this about this opposition issue. Shore was released on bail, I think 2 days ago, exactly. He said something very touching. He said while he was in jail, that none of these opposition people spoke about him, whatever. But rather, when they deregistered NDC, they were calling him in jail that, CEO, we've been deregistered. So he now asked them, so you want me to do what? I should come out of jail to come and protest on your behalf?
Well,
What does this say?
No, number one is we need to know who exactly said, because if a member of NDC sends you a message, that does not mean that Seriaki sent you a message.
No, of course, he didn't say Seriaki.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
Let's get that in perspective.
Of course.
But one thing I want to say is, Showore is a personal friend of mine. When I say personal friend of mine. I was with him. I went to visit him in prison the last time he was in prison. Showore is fighting against this government, right? What stops the opposition from, okay, all the things Showore is maybe protesting against. If Showore says we are protesting against fuel price increase tomorrow, or gas, or whatever tomorrow, with his maybe 1,000 protesters, why won't the opposition mobilize like 5,000 and join him? Or like 10,000 and join him? There should be only one single opposition against Tinubu going into 2027. Once you start dividing yourselves, NDC, Peter Obi, AP, ADC, Atiku, AAC, Showore, PRP, Donald Duke, the moment you start dividing yourselves in groups, Tinubu will flog all of you.
Nigerian youth. I already see your reaction.
Not ready.
They are not ready. But they are very loud, very vociferous on social media.
I said not ready. Social media does not win an election. Social media does not change a government policy. Social media does not move government's hand. When Jonathan, in January of 2012, when Jonathan partly removed subsidy, and fuel went from 97 naira to 141 naira. I remember because I was in VI that night, that morning that the announcement was made. There was an immediate shutting down of the system. People trooped out to Ojota. People trooped out everywhere across the country. There was simultaneous mobilization. People came out to say, no, we will not accept this. Right? Today, fuel is 1,241 naira. For an oil-producing nation, that should be unacceptable. In fact, an oil-producing nation should never remove subsidy from fuel. because that is the only benefit citizens get from being citizens of an oil-producing country. I should not pay the same amount as Ghana if Ghana does not have oil. I should not pay the same amount as Zimbabwe if Zimbabwe does not have oil. If there is crude in Nigeria, there should be a little semblance. But look at what Tinubu did. And look what was the response of the opposition. Press release. Naira was floated. Press release. A governor was suspended in Rivers. Press release. Everything Tinubu has done against the constitution, every attack against the constitution, the opposition has only done press release. Now, you ask about Nigerian youth. I don't know when we wake up, but the day Nigerian youth decide to wake up, the country will sit up. But you know why the Nigerian youth cannot wake up? Number one is there is a very deliberate distraction being planted by the people that want to keep them in bondage. So when Nigerian youth want to maybe rise up over an issue, they will bring something up. A few days ago, it was a clergy. There is nothing, if it is not tribalism, it is religion. If it is not religion, it is whatever. But Nigerian youth have not been able to come together since Tinubu became president. In fact, if you come out to protest, you will see the same Nigerian youth come out and do a counter-protest against you. It happened in Ibadan. It happened here in Abuja. Every time the youth come together and say they want to do something, the government gets people, the same youth, to come and counter them.
Let me ask you, not just Nigerian youths now, because we used to have NANs, very powerful. Well, I was in university when you were in university. But now, let's talk about the role of the NBA, Nigerian Labour Congress, New Peng, Pengasan, Nigerian Bar Association, Nigerian Medical Association.
That Nigerian Bar Association, you know there used to be a Ikeja branch, yes, under the PDP. They were the most ferocious, they were the strongest MBA in Nigeria, branch in Nigeria. Today, MBA has become a part of them. We had an MBA president, I think before Olumide Akpata, I think the guy that was there, who was openly supporting everything the government was doing, right? I don't want to mention him. You know, we are talking about lawyers now, so that. But Olumide Akpata came and tried to straighten things up. Now we have Afamo Osigwe. Do you get what I'm saying? But one tree does not make a forest. Him alone, as NBA president, cannot do much, except all the branches. The one in FCT, the FCT branch, some months ago, gave award to Meina.
Abdurrashid Meina.
Yes! Gave him an award. In fact, the NBA national, had to issue a disclaimer. Do you understand? Talk of NLC. Tinubu has Nigeria by the jugular. Because NLC, before, when NLC coughed under the PDP, once they cough like this, the government will shiver. But today, NLC will declare protest. In 2 hours or 3 hours before the protest, NLC will have meeting in Aso Rock. NLC will come out and be smiling. People now say NLC has collected dollars. I am not saying, no. Do you understand? And it keeps repeating itself. Every issue, NLC comes out, blah, blah, blows out and everything. Just maybe 24 hours before the protest is supposed to happen, NLC is seen in the villa. You see the Minister of Labour, the Minister of this one, they shake hands with Chief of Staff. The next thing they come out and they are smiling. Do you know that under APC, an NLC president was slapped in Imo State? Could anybody have dared that with Anoshiomole as NLC president under the PDP? No, I need you to tell me the truth. No. They beat Ajero. Guess who beat him? It was not it was an SA to a governor. Even the president dare not touch NLC president. But this time, an SA, ordinary SA to a governor. The man said, when they slapped me, he said, I could not see road. He came out, his eyes were red.
Almost lost an eye.
Now, that action alone should have cost Opuzodinma his re-election. Should have caused that essay his removal from. But the guy is still essay to Opuzodinma. Opuzodinma still won a re-election. See, all these NLC, all these things have been compromised. The man in Aso Rock is a Nigerian politician by every definition. And I don't mean that in a good way. A Nigerian politician is somebody who capitalizes on people's weaknesses. The man in Aso Rock knows and understands that what money cannot buy, more money can buy it. So rather than have you as an enemy, why not I bring you on board, join us, let's share the bounty. Everybody is happy. Why the citizens are suffering? That is why you have governors today who grovel before the president and call him their father. Most of these governors are grandfathers. What makes Tinubu their father? But it is the level of psychophancy. It is the level Tinubu has reduced every other person to. There is no governor in Nigeria today that is able to challenge Tinubu apart from the Bauchi state governor. Not even Alex Oti of the Labour Party.
Seyi Makinde of Oyo State.
And Seyi Makinde, God bless you. And Seyi Makinde, my dear brother in Oyo State. Lovely gentleman. No other governor have been. Do you know what it means for governors to be moving from opposition into a party that is hated by Nigerians? It means they understand that winning election under a government like this is not by popularism. It is by the working of the system. It is by the compromising of the system. It is by the bribing of the system. It is by the manipulation of the system. So you will see someone like Delta. You will ask yourself, Delta, you have enough money. You're one of the richest states in Nigeria. Why are you joining APC? But you understand that if they don't join, they saw what happened in Edo. In fact, that action of making Okpebo the governor, it was what triggered a lot of governors to start moving into APC because they look at it. PDP cannot challenge this level of madness. These guys are very brazen. The way they do, what if we do a forensic audit of the election in Edo, Okpebo will not be governor today. But we can't. You know why? Everything is in Tinubu's hand now. So he's the one that determines who becomes a governor. It has even gotten so bad. I am hearing presently now that he wants to be sure of people that are coming back to the National Assembly. Why? I told someone last year, and I'm going to put another prediction today. I have said it before that Peter Obi will not likely be on the ballot in 2027. Let me put you another prescription. If Tinubu wins in 2027, he's going to go for a third term. Please. I want this to be repeated in the next 4 years if Tinubu wins.
Okay, as we wind down, I know, let's divest ourselves temporarily from this allegation, this scandal with Gbajabiamila and assess the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration in the past 3 years, 2 months.
Zero. In every sector.
You didn't even let me finish. Student loans, coastal highway.
I said zero in every...
Inflation has come down.
So now...
The Naira is stable.
Hold on. I like the fact that you are mentioning. So let's take it one by one. Student loan, right? I have 2 kids in the university now. My 2 kids are in the university, even though they are in private university. But before Tinubu came in, tuition fees in public universities were like 60K maximum. Do you understand? This guy came in, shot everything up to like 300,000. So people were withdrawing their awards. He now had to bring in NEL fund. That's Yoruba call it ole. You understand what I'm saying? That is you giving with your right hand and collecting it back with your left hand. Leave it at the price that you met it, so that they could afford it and remain in school. Now you are telling somebody who couldn't pay 60,000 tuition fee to take loan. By the time they finish, that loan, by the time they graduate, they are owing you about 2 million naira. And now your wife said they should go and fry akara and fry kurikuli. How do you want them to? So you are not helping. You are not helping. Reduce the cost. There are universities abroad that are free. Right? Why did you skyrocket these tuition fees to the level that it went out of the reach of the common man? That the common man now has to rely on NEL fund to be able to send their children to school. So NEL fund is zero. It is obtaining by forced. Let me finish. It is obtaining by forced pretense. That is fraud.
Coastal Highway, legacy project.
Hey, wonderful. Coastal Highway. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Dave Umahi, if he's not careful, he will go to jail.
For what?
For that Coastal Highway. Me, I'm a citizen. I'm a businessman. I'm a political analyst, but I'm just a businessman, a private citizen. You, as a journalist who understands what questioning government means, have you seen the document giving award for the Coastal Highway?
The government said, Dave Umahi specifically said, hold on, shield. Dave Umahi said on TV, and I saw him, that because of the previous jobs of this the high-tech engineering firm, they've done so well, so they just gave them on high recommendation and all of those. We asked those questions, bidding process, transparency, ICRC, all of those, BPE, but they skipped that. But does that fall that is a legacy project that your children, my children will benefit from?
Did you listen to what you just said now?
Yes.
The government decided that they will spend 15 trillion of taxpayers' money.
Over 10 billion US dollars.
They will spend 15 trillion naira of taxpayers' money on emotions. Oh, they have done a good job, just come and take this job and go and do it. No feasibility studies, no environmental impact assessment study, no report, no bidding process, nothing. No certificate from BPE, no competitive bidding, no advertisement in the media for others to bid with them. Coastal Highway is a fraud. And believe me, as many of them as are involved in it, that is why 2027 needs to be a watershed in our political history. We need to fight. We just don't need to go and vote. We need to fight to take government away from these people so that these guys need to come and do account to us. How do you give out such money, such contract, without budgetary provision? National Assembly did not make any provisions for them. It is nowhere in the budget. Now, nowhere. Do you know, as an investor or even as a foreigner, if you come to Nigeria now and you say, okay, about the Coastal Way, you want to get information about the Coastal Way. Do you know there is no office that can give you information about the Coastal Highway?
Minister of Works announced it.
They don't have. This, like you said, the man said they've done a good job before, so just come and take it. No bidding. How do you give a public contract out without bidding? That alone is an impeachable offense for the president, not for the minister. That's number one. Number two, you've seen Lagos is now being flooded, right? 3, 4, 5 days ago, you've seen the flood in Lagos. Do you know that the information we're getting is because of the Coastal Highway?
Part of it.
Yes.
That's the allegation. That's
now,
part of it.
How would we know when there is no
Environmental assessment.
Do you understand what I'm saying? These guys are just doing. So, Coastal Highway would have been a lovely project if it was done properly. Do you understand? If it was done within the law, and if we had the resources, if we are not pulling resources from every other area to fund President Tinubu's friend.
Let me ask you to comment on this one so that, it will be bad if you don't comment on it. The president openly said he would give power. And if he does not give power, we should not vote for him again. Do you have 24 hours electricity in your...
I don't have 24 hours. In fact, as I'm talking to you now, in the next few days, in fact, let me just tell you, we have had the worst power supply experience of our lives under Tinubu. It has been so terrible that I personally had to write to the former minister of power, Adelabu, petitioning my AEDC area manager to him. I wrote to National Electricity Regulatory NEC. I wrote to their head office. They called a meeting. We had a meeting. They were giving excuses because they are building one hospital. It is terrible. And do you know now that under Tinubu, if you don't have solar, you're a poor man? Even if you're running generator, my generator costs me 35,000 every night. So in a month, I spend 1,050,000 naira running generator in 1 month. If you pass my house and you see me running generator, you will call me and say, okay, you're a poor man. Tinubu has made us to become. Tinubu has reduced our productivity. Tinubu has, I don't know if Tinubu is a manufacturer of solar system, because why on earth will every rooftop in Nigeria now be carrying solar panel? Why on earth will Aso Rock, to tell you that man is a complete failure? That man. See, we need to conduct medical tests for anybody running for president. Somebody that does not have sense, that cannot reason, that cannot think, should not become president of Nigeria. You said we should not vote you if you don't give us power. And the next thing you did is to remove yourself from national grid.
They have to test it, whether the solar is good. They have to test it. Let me ask my final question, Shield. And by the way, before I even ask the last one, breaking news: Femi Falana, SAN, has taken up the legal representation
of Prince
Adeniyi.
Now here we go.
So
here we go.
Let's see.
Here we go.
Good news. The legal fireworks.
But does it need to get to this level? Your chief of staff is being accused of different. In fact, I'm even hearing this morning that there's another case of bribery against Gbajabiamila this morning. Somebody sent me, I've not checked it, but they sent me a link this morning that there's another case of fraud, of bribery against Gbajabiamila. A decent person would say, go, don't stay in my government. But the government is a stain on its own. The government is evil on its own.
No, that's too far, Shield. But let me ask my last
Sorry,
question.
what is too far?
You said the government is evil. The government
I don't understand. What do you mean it's too far?
Shield, let me ask my last question.
No. We need to address, what do you mean it's too far? A man puts the livelihood of 230 million people in ruins, and you're calling me evil is far.
Don't call them evil. Let me ask my last question, Shield.
I'm still calling you to call him evil.
Hold on. What do you think about this? I know you touched on it here and there, but let's be definite. This forthcoming 2027 election, is there a scenario, in your own opinion, where President Tinubu can be defeated? Is there any scenario?
Yes.
As you sit here?
Yes. And these are political strategies that I wish that the opposition will have latched onto. See, some months ago, Donald Trump criticized the Tinubu's government publicly, even tweeted it and called Nigeria a country of particular concern. Do you understand? At that moment, Trump hated Tinubu's government. It was a window of opportunity for the opposition to have created a back channel communication with White House. They should have been able to penetrate the White House, then because White House does not even have the full grasp of the evil that this government is. They should have been furnishing White House with the crimes of this government. That was an opening. Trump openly tweeting against Nigeria, tweeting against the president, you understand? But the opposition failed. Now, a few months later, the same Trump is applauding the first lady publicly. The same Trump is now liaising. In fact, I'm hearing that Tinubu is even going to the US. He will have state visit. Why? Opposition missed an opportunity, because let me tell you the truth. To remove Tinubu in 2027, there needs to be external pressure. Yes, that's the right word to use. There needs to be external pressure. The same way Barack Obama spoke few hours before the 2015 election.
John Kerry was here.
Was in Kano, was in Lagos. He didn't even go to the villa to see the president. We need to see external forces breathing down on our institutions that should guarantee electoral transparency. INEC needs to be called upon. In fact, INEC needs to know that the international community is watching it, because there's nothing anybody in Nigeria wants to say. Tinubu does not send anybody. See, under Jonathan, if there is fuel crisis for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, he will tell the Zani, go and talk to Nigerians. This government does not have any shame. Now, opposition missed the opportunity to externalize their campaign for Tinubu's removal. That was one. Now, I heard, so I will use a capital letter allegedly here, that $150 million was pumped into the US from here. That now softened the ground. So now, as it is now, the White House is fully collaborating with Aso Rock. Do you understand? Opposition, that's number one. Number two is opposition is watching as the government uses the judiciary to decimate it. Opposition, before election is in 6 months. This is July. Election is in 6 months' time, January 16th. There should be a test of power of the people on the street before the election, so that the government understands that if you don't give us free and fair election, no more, there will be no country for you to lead. That is critical. But I don't see Atiku or Peter Obi doing that. They are too comfortable to be opposition leaders. And my brother Shore alone that can do that kind of thing, you know. So as we move on, if the opposition wants to win the next election, they need to, you will say I'm not calling for violence. They need to do a physical confrontation with this government. Do you understand? Look at the electoral law that was passed in the National Assembly. That electoral law has already crowned APC's re-election. Opposition should not have allowed that to stand. No, you should. Gbajabiamila climbed National Assembly gate when he was in opposition. I saw him. This time around, these opposition people are too comfortable. They are okay. In fact, I am even suspecting that most of them are working for the ruling party. Because if you are not working if you really want to gain power, Tinubu has done more than enough harm to Nigeria and Nigerians that you don't need to talk too much for you to get Nigerians and rally Nigerians against them. But see, nobody is rallying anybody around them. So Wike can go and sell Wuye General Hospital land, allocate it to a private individual. Everywhere is quiet. He can allocate over 100 hectares of land to his children that we don't even know if they are paying taxes, while Nigerians are suffering, and there is nobody that is talking. Tinubu's wife can decide to say, see, I don't see the opposition. It is not effective yet, but it can be. There are things that need to be done. Even this frivolous judgment that causes, there are things that can be done to stop them. Very easily done to stop them. But I have not seen the only thinker, the only strategist in the whole opposition that I know would have been El-Rufai. And currently is in prison. And believe me, if there was opposition, El-Rufai would not be in prison till now.
Fantastic place to anchor.
Thank you.
Shield, nice to have you, my brother.
Same here.
I'm sure we'll do this again a couple of times before the election.
Hopefully.
You know, Nigeria every day wants trouble, so.
We hope that our next interview will be how do we move forward, because there will have been a change. If there is no change by the time I come here again, then whatever we have said here has not, do you understand?
Let's hope for a change by then.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.